Purple Onion says, I'm still new to Bitcoin and would like to know your opinion on the dangers of companies like BlackRock forcing a fork that less favorable to retail investors. There's enough stuff about this. I don't need to. I feel like I've talked about this every week for the last year. Should we be concerned with BlackRock? Yes. Are they a threat right now? No. It's like AI. I think about BlackRock and AI very similarly because, yes, quantum computers, AI, is going to be a threat in the future. BlackRock, the US government, these are going to be threats in the future if we allow that to happen. And this goes back to Bruno's question about keeping our Bitcoin and our sats within our own networks instead of selling it to exchanges, and then they get into the BlackRock vacuum. As soon as you sell sats back to the exchange, a lot of that Bitcoin eventually will end up in the hands of BlackRock and big corporations. So as it is today, it's not a threat. But if we allow it to, they're going to tempt all Bitcoiners. They're going to run it up to 1 million. They're going to run it up to 10 million a coin. And that's their only strategy to accumulate more Bitcoin at a certain point. And a lot of Bitcoiners will sell some of their stack. But I still don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be a thing in our lifetime where that happens, where BlackRock has any significant influence over the network or any potential hard forks in Bitcoin. But in 100 years from now, I don't know. And you kind of, I was thinking about this the other day. I think everybody should be thinking about this. It's like, what price would you sell all of your Bitcoin? What's your price? And that's relevant because keep in mind, individuals right now, the average people of the world, well, they're not all average. There's a lot of rich people in there, obviously. But that's who holds 70% of the Bitcoin right now. So ask yourself, like, it's different if it ran up to 1 million. I'd probably sell like a few sats, or I might find something to do with them, whatever that is. But in order to part with your whole stack, and then you start looking at the percentages and the math on how much you're actually going to be able to get here. And the higher it runs up, the less Bitcoin you're going to have to sell to meet your needs. And that gives me a lot of hope. And let me kind of explain that a little bit more. So let's say that like BlackRock, these countries, MicroStrategies, they are aware of how few Bitcoin there are. They are aware of the supply issue with Bitcoin. It's not something that they can print. It's not something they can just pay as much as they want to, and they can just get Bitcoin. We've never had an asset like Bitcoin before. So think about it. Their only play is to either spread misinformation about Bitcoin, which they've been doing for 16 years now, or they run up the price and they tempt you to sell your Bitcoin. That's their two options. Or they seize it, of course. And I wouldn't say that's a 0% chance of happening. So you have to be thinking about how to protect yourself from that. But let's just focus on the running the price up to try to tempt people to sell. So think about it right now. Like, what would the price be? What would it need to be in order for you to sell 100% of your stack? I don't even know what mine would be. Like 100 million, maybe 500 million per Bitcoin, honestly. Because you're trading something that's real for something that's fake. And going back to the paper house analogy here, if I had a house here and somebody came to my house, knocked on the door and said, I like your house, I'll give you 500 paper houses for your house. And I'm like, no, why would I do that? They're paper houses. They're fake. They'll blow away. They'll burn. They'll get wrecked in the rain. Okay. How about 5 million paper houses? And I'm like, no, why you could offer me 50 million paper houses and I'm not going to sell my real house. So that's why I really believe that BlackRock and these big corporations and governments are going to have such a hard time getting Bitcoin from people like us. So then let's say that they run it up to 10 million and you start thinking, okay, well, if I sold 1% of my stack, I could pay off my loan or I could buy a new car or whatever that is. But then you keep 99% of it still. And then they're like, what the hell? These guys aren't selling. So we need to run it up to 100 million a coin. One sat equals $1 at that point. And it's still like, okay, well, at that point, if I wanted to sell 1%, I could buy now a boat, a truck, pay off my loan. And the higher they keep running it up, the less of it you have to sell to get what you need and want. So that's why I don't think that they're a threat. And if you think about the spending habits and the knowledge around money, it's significantly higher for Bitcoiners who have conviction over Bitcoin than people who spend, consume. It's two different worlds, truly. So that was a fun topic to talk about, actually. I was kind of mad that you asked it, but that was a good question.